Your journey may not be what you always thought it would be, and it may not be what everyone else's is or what's considered normal, but that's okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, then welcome. I'm going to be doing an infertility video today, which it's been quite a while since we have talked infertility on my channel, but I've been getting a lot of DMs on Instagram lately about infertility, and so I thought that we would make this video because I honestly can't believe that I haven't yet. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys just some tips on how to survive going through infertility, because it's such a difficult time. And if you're new here, I'm on the other side of it now. I have an almost 1-year-old, and so I'm going to share it with you guys. Some things that helped me get through in the moment, but also now being on the other side, looking back, some things that I think would help you. If you are new here, then please hit that subscribe button and let's just get on to the video. So just really quickly, for anybody who is new to my channel, I shared my infertility story on YouTube 2 years ago. That was the first video I posted about infertility, and it's one of my most viewed videos. I know a lot of my subscribers have come from that video. So if you want to start back at square one after you watch this one, I'll link it down below. I'll also put it in a card, and I'll also link my infertility playlist. So I documented the process of getting pregnant while going through infertility. I documented my entire pregnancy, and like I said in the intro, my son is now almost a year old. Okay, so like I also said in the intro, I still get questions all the time on infertility and how I got through, and just advice for getting through the process. I still have a lot of new subscribers finding me through that video from 2 years ago, and people then just now start following me on Instagram and message me about their own stories, which the whole reason I shared my infertility story on YouTube at all was to make others feel less alone. That kind of leads me into my first tip. My first advice for surviving infertility is to just know you're not alone. When you get the diagnosis of infertility, whether it's PCOS or male factor infertility or unexplained infertility, it is such a big moment. Honestly, it's kind of like one of those moments in your life where it's in slow motion, where you're kind of just like, what's gonna happen? You have all these thoughts that race through your head at super speed, but at the same time, like, time slows down. I'm sure you guys who've been through it can relate to that. And in that moment, you feel very alone because you don't know what your future is gonna look like, and you know that most people around you are having babies, no problem. You're seeing it on Facebook every other day. You're seeing it on Instagram every other day, a pregnancy announcement. And you see all these people in your life having babies without problems, and then you get this diagnosis and you're told that it's not going to be that way for you. You feel alone. So I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. I promise you, you are not alone. Unfortunately, infertility is one of those things that many people don't talk about. Many people never ever share their struggles. They never share their stories. And that's why I came on here the first time I posted that video, and then why I've continued to talk so openly about it, is because it can feel extremely isolating, and I want you to know you're not alone. So when I got diagnosed, YouTube was one of the first places I turned, because I didn't know anybody in my personal life who had gone through infertility. And YouTube was a place I could go to watch videos on other people's experiences. I had no idea what to expect going forward with treatment and all of that. And so YouTube was a huge, huge resource for me. So if you don't know anyone in your personal life, I suggest scouring the internet, because I promise you it's gonna help, because you're gonna realize there are so many other women and men out there going through this. If you do have people you can talk to in your life about it, then I definitely suggest that as well. If you have people you know that have been through infertility, open up about it. I promise you, you will feel better than living in this secret bubble of infertility. Telling people will help you heal. Tell your friends, tell your family, obviously on your own time when you're comfortable. But I found that, like, if you keep it a secret and you're going through these treatments and the only person that knows is your spouse, like, it can still feel very isolating. I encourage you to talk about it. You obviously don't have to talk about it in such a platform that I did. You don't have to talk about it on social media, but I just encourage you to talk about it with people close to you because it will help you feel less alone. It's often seen as such a taboo subject, and it really doesn't need to be because it truly does affect so many couples, whether they talk about it or not. And so the more people that talk about it, the better, because it's something that should be shared because it is such a common thing that couples struggle with. I'm going to go backwards a bit and talk about when you first find out that conceiving is going to be difficult for you. It's okay to be upset, and it's okay to grieve the loss of normal. So what I mean by this is you probably have this preconceived idea in your head, or you have had, growing up or whatever, as long as you've been trying to get pregnant, whatever the scenario, of what the journey to get pregnant was gonna look like for you. You've seen what it looks like for all your friends, they try and they get pregnant on the first month, or they try 2 months and they get pregnant, and it's just this like fun thing where they say, trying for a baby is so much fun and all of that. You probably have that idea going into it. I know I did. I always grew up not assuming there would ever be anything wrong with me, never thinking that I would have a hard time getting pregnant, because why would I think that? I had no reason to think that. So I grew up always dreaming of having a family, thinking that like, okay, this is gonna be a piece of cake, no big deal. And when I found out it wasn't, that was kind of like a shocking moment where it's like, I'm not normal. This is not gonna be normal for me. That's really, really scary. And so what I'm saying is it's okay to feel those feelings and like grieve not having your life be normal. Once you've done that, my suggestion for you is to accept it. So here's the thing I often tell people when they DM me, like, what advice do you have for getting through infertility? This is one of the things I always tell them is your journey may not be what you always thought it would be, and it may not be what everyone else's is or what's considered normal, but that's okay. It's okay. Your journey's gonna be different, and that's okay. So grieve that loss, but then accept that you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be different. It's not gonna be what you expected. It might be really difficult, but it's okay, and you can do it. I promise you'll get through it, and it's gonna be a process. It's gonna be hard. There's gonna be a lot of hurdles you're gonna have to jump through. There's gonna be a lot of difficult times, but it's okay. Another tip I often tell people, and this comes from doing this myself during the process, is don't let infertility consume you. It consumed so much of my life. It was all I thought about. It was all I talked about. All I ever wanted to talk to Ben about was the what ifs, that this is what we're doing next. It was just everything. And this is also just my personality type, as I can tend to be anxious. I can tend to overthink things. I have a really hard time sometimes being present. My word of the year this year was present, because I really need to work on being present and not having so many other things going off in my mind. Don't let it consume you. Infertility is, this is a fact, if you're going through treatment, going to take up a lot of your life. It's going to take up a lot of your time. It's going to take up a lot of your money, depending on, the route you're going. That's going to happen. That's fine. Let it take up those times, but fill your life with other things that you enjoy. Don't let it take up every waking thought. Don't let it take up every conversation with your spouse. Like I said, share your story, talk to people about it. That's fine. That will help heal you, but talk about other things as well. Do other things that you enjoy. Try to still live your life around your infertility, because it will take up a lot, but don't let it take more than you need to. I look back and so much of my life was so focused on getting pregnant and analyzing everything and analyzing every symptom, and it was like not healthy for anybody. Ben and I talk about, we always go on walks. We still say like how so many of those walks we went on, we talked about getting pregnant and like all of the infertility stuff. And it's like, why? Because in those moments where we're together on a walk, spending time together, there's nothing we can change about the scenario. Nothing we're talking about in that moment is gonna make us get pregnant in that moment. You know what I mean? So try to separate things a little bit. It's really hard. It's really easier said than done, but try to separate those aspects in your life when you can. On that same subject of not letting it consume you, try not to overanalyze. I'm the queen of this. I do this in every aspect of my life. Like, I need to tell this to myself as well, but overanalyzing does nothing. Honestly, like I said, every single month we went through this, it was, am I pregnant this time? Oh, I have this symptom, let me Google it. Oh, I have this symptom, let me Google it. Let me pee on a stick 12 times and look at it in the light, in different lights. Let me take pictures of it and try to adjust the saturation to see if there's a line. Like, I did all of these things month after month, you guys. I took so many pregnancy tests. I looked at them in the window. I looked at them in the bathroom light. Literally took pictures and adjusted the light. I get what you call line eyes, where I think I see a line. I would text it to Ben, like every little symptom. I'm like, I think this is it this time. I think this is it this time. And then when I wouldn't be pregnant, it would be so much more devastating, because I've sat there and I've convinced myself, because I've overanalyzed every little thing, that I could possibly be pregnant, and I wouldn't be. And it would be all that more crushing every month that I wasn't, because I'd convinced myself by looking at all these little teeny tiny things and putting them together, making myself think that I was pregnant. And not just that, not just symptoms, just overanalyzing the entire situation, thinking like, oh, what if I did it this way? Like, or oh, if we had had sex then instead of then, maybe it would be different. Or oh, if we have sex then and then, maybe it'll be different. And it's like, you'll never know exactly what combination of things is gonna work to get you pregnant. And so thinking about them over and over again is not gonna help you. Overthinking, stressing yourself out will not get you pregnant. It is not going to help you get a positive pregnancy test. Overanalyzing every potential symptom you have is not going to give you a pregnancy test, but it might make you get a negative one. They say that stress and pregnancy are highly correlated, and I can speak to that, because the month that I finally decided to let it go was the month I got pregnant. I don't know if those two are connected, potentially, but I know that through the process of the 2-week wait, I felt so much better, because I just like let it go. I was like, I'm just gonna let it be. I'm not gonna even think about these symptoms. I'm not gonna Google these symptoms if I have things. And what's funny is I did actually have true pregnancy symptoms, but I really just pushed things aside, lived my life, went those 2 weeks, waited the full 2 weeks to take a pregnancy test, and took one. And I was pregnant. There was no Googling, no testing multiple times, none of that. And I have to tell you that that was the most enjoyable month of like our infertility journey, because I just let it go. And again, it's easier said than done, but overanalyzing everything will not change the result of your pregnancy test. You're either pregnant or you're not. But lots of stress can make it difficult to get pregnant. So I always say, keep yourself busy on that 2-week wait. Do things you really enjoy. Spend time with your family, spend time with your friends. Do things that make you happy, that you can take your mind off of that period. And so the last thing I'm going to talk about is one that I've come to realize being on the other end of infertility. And that is that this period in your life, while you're going through it, feels so big. And it is. It's very significant. It's very big. It takes up, like I said, it consumes your life in many ways. It's big. But once you get past it and you're on the other side, it feels a lot less big. It's still very significant. That's still a very big part of our life, our story, our history, but it feels a lot smaller now that you actually have your child. Like, that's big. That's significant. That's something to celebrate. That's something to put your time and your energy and your emotions into. And everybody's journey is different. Like, I know that ours was on the shorter end of the spectrum. For some people, their infertility journey is 10 years plus of trying to get pregnant. We were really lucky that ours was like 2 years, 1 year of like treatments. The 1 year was, the treatment focused year. But anyways, ours was smaller in terms of some people's, but I still look back on that time now and it's just like a blip in our life. And in that moment, it felt so big and so consuming, but now that I have my son, it is a blip in time. And so that's why I say, try to still live your life. Try to not let it consume you, because when you have your child, it's so small, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to discredit how big infertility is and your feelings, because I've been there and I know if we go through it again, like, it's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be so consuming. But I'm just saying that, like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that this feels so big and so much right now, but once you have your baby, it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, it's all worth it. It all goes by so quickly. Like, pregnancy, this first year of his life has just flown by, that it's like, that's all just in my past now. It's all just a distant memory. And so try to visualize the light at the end of the tunnel. It might be hard to get there. You might have to go through a lot to get there, but once you get there, it's all worth it. Like, I would not change our journey or our path. I always say that we didn't get pregnant in all those months of trying because it wouldn't have been Leon. We were supposed to get pregnant with Leon the month we got pregnant. Like, Leon was made for our family. He is the perfect fit for us, and we would not have had him had it been any other month. So I like to try to encourage people to think like that, because your perfect baby is out there waiting. It's just not the month that they can be made yet, you know? So those are my thoughts. I feel like this is very serious. I'm not like that serious, but I really just wanted to give you guys some hope and some optimism and just some tips to get through, because at the end of the day, it is very difficult and it's very, very emotional. And it's a lot. It's very heavy. And so I'm sharing my story and my tips to help you guys make it a little less difficult, hoping that it will. If you guys have been through infertility and you have any other, I don't know what I'm doing, any other tips, please leave them down below. Help each other out. I'm always here. If you guys ever want to talk, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to talk to you guys about anything infertility or whatever. One other thing, I had asked on Instagram if anybody had any infertility related questions or topics they wanted me to talk about, and I was either gonna lump it into this video or make a separate one depending on the length. This video is already saying it's 22 minutes long, so I'm gonna put that into a new video. I'm probably not gonna be able to film that today, but coming up here in the future, I'm going to be doing an infertility specific Q&A. So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss that. Like this video if you liked it. Again, I will link my infertility playlist down below. Feel free to binge watch all of that stuff if you are going through all this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh, I don't like the way I said the channel. It's often seen as such a taboo one other thing.